I'm gonna tell you something. I'm Star-Lord.
I get the same old dreams, same time every night. Fall to the ground and I wake up. I'm getting higher. We're getting higher. We're getting higher. Up into the air, our hearts set on fire. We're getting higher. We're getting higher. Up into the air, our hearts set on fire. Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ranked and Reviewed. I am your host, Tomye West, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Alannis Maximus. Oh my God!
Hello.
I don't even want to continue anymore. It's been a long time, hasn't it, Alannis?
It has been a while.
We've been very, would you say busy?
Let's say that.
Busy. Just band stuff, you know. Also, we'll get into it, but I don't even know what to say, man, about this. Anyway, we're here today to talk about the one, the only Blue Beetle. Now, this is for anyone that's uneducated, which I don't know why you'd be watching this if that's the case. Blue Beetle is in the latest DC movie, like DC Comics. It is the final DC movie that. Oh wait, no, that's a lie. Aquaman's coming out. Boo! It's the second last movie that is not going to be included in the new universe, even though this character in Blue Beetle is going over to the new universe. I know, makes no sense, but it's okay, because after seeing this movie, I realized that nothing makes sense. So, Alannis, before we start, how are you going today?
Yeah, getting by.
What do you
Nothing
think
really.
about this- What do you think about this Danny Masterson bullshit, man?
Isn't he getting like 30 years or something?
He got 30 years to life.
Yeah.
He's in the middle of getting transported from, like, you know, where they hold the prisoners before they transport them to the jail, and then he's going to jail, and he will be in there for 30 years. And apparently, I watched a lot of podcasts from people that have been on the inside and things like that, saying what he's going to expect, and they said that they're not going to kill him, they're not going to hurt him. What they're going to do is they're going to hurt him if he doesn't pay rent. So to the people in the prison yard, he's going to have to pay these people because he's rich, and everyone knows that. So everyone's going to be like, "You want to stay here without getting shanked? Cough it up." And every week, it's going to be up to his family to transfer that money into his account. And if they don't, bad news, man. Bad news. But yeah, it's pretty fucked, man. Like, now, obviously what he did was completely wrong. Obviously, it's disgusting behavior. Obviously, we don't condone that. I want everyone to know how much that sucks, because not that we don't condone it. That doesn't suck. What sucks is that Danny Masterson played my favorite character in my favorite sitcom, and not just that. Now we're finding out all this dirt on the rest of the stars from that show, and it sounds like the only really good, decent person in it was Topher Grace. It's crazy, man. Like, Ashton Kutcher had a girlfriend that he found murdered and didn't know what to do, so he left her there for the next person to find her so he could go to the party and not have his career tarnished. And this guy that he didn't report because he wanted to not get his career tarnished, was a serial killer who got away with it and went and killed another 3 people or something, and then they caught him. So if Ashton Kutcher had maybe just reported it early enough, they would have caught him before he killed other people, but they didn't. So that just sounds like he's a fucking pleasant guy, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Apparently, man, there is something going on outside, and I'm not liking it. It's for everyone that's not in Australia. It's grand final day tomorrow, and there is a fucking party happening. And you know what? It was like down the road, and now it's like out the front. But yeah, no, Danny Masterson, 30 years to life, and that is without a chance of parole. No chance. Like for 30 years. He's going to be like 70, bro. And then, dude, Charles Manson got 30 years to life, and he appealed for like getting out 11 times, and they kicked his ass back every single time. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're getting out in 30 years either. It's 30 years to life.
Yeah.
They look after you really well as well in prison because they want you to have as long a life as possible. They don't want you dying and getting out of your punishment. So gives me anxiety, man. You know, it's not even me, and I've got anxiety about it. Can you imagine, bro, just like knowing where you're heading for the rest of your life, and that's it. Like,
yeah.
Welcome to your new home, you know? This is your new wife, Daryl. All right, let's get into the movie review after talking about such an uplifting topic. So, Blue Beetle came out 2023 with a rating of what is it, Alannis?
3.
12A.
Ah, yes. Oh, you mean rating?
Yes, Alannis. Rating. Yes. Rating. So PG-13, all those nonsense. Yes. You better believe there is a 12A. And yes, you better believe we don't know what it means. I'm going to click into it. Let's click into it quickly. Let's find this out.
Well, anus.
Okay, so it's rated PG-13. But it's coming up with 12A. Here in Australia, it was rated M. In Argentina, you have to be 13. In Brazil, you have to be 14. In Ireland, tell me what this means. That's where it is from, 12A. Finland, you ready? K12.
Yeah.
What's that?
I have no idea.
I'm turning K12 today.
Yeah.
Indonesia, 13 plus. Yeah, Australia's pretty relaxed. The only countries who were more relaxed than us is the one you could have guessed, and that's Sweden with 11. Hey, dude, Mexico, you have to be B and older.
I remember turning B. That's a good time.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as D. So yeah, with a rating of PG-13/M here. 12A. So I'm going to guess that every time it says 12A, it's PG-13. I'm just going to say PG-13 and people correct me. Yeah. With a runtime of 2 hours and 7 minutes. Oh, is that all? With an IMDb rating of 6.2 out of 10. And the synopsis goes a little like this. An alien scarab chooses Jamie Reyes to be its symbiotic host, bestowing the recent collage. What? Wait. Sorry. Bestowing the recent college graduate with a suit of armor that's capable of extraordinary powers, forever changing his destiny as he becomes the greatest superhero known as Blue Beetle. Is he really the greatest superhero alive? I don't know about that one. This is directed by Angel Manuel Soto. Angel Manuel Soto. That's how you got to say it. I'm sorry, but if it's that Spanish, you got to say it that way. Angel Manuel Soto. With the writer being Gareth Dammit Alcoso. I don't know, man. These names are fucked. Yo, this person's name is XOLO. How do you say that? Man, it's like 303. Bruna McQuenzen and Becky G. Imagine
Good
being,
old Becky G.
imagine all these diverse names and then Becky G. I'm Becky G. Nice to meet you all. And yes, this had a box office budget. The budget was around. This is a whack estimation, man. Like, why not just put it 100 million? Like, it says 104 million. Like, just leave the 4 off. Like, it doesn't need to be that specific. On its opening weekend, this is so bad, man. We wait to hear this. Opening weekend in US and Canada. How much do you think it made?
I'm going with not much.
Have a guess.
8 million.
8.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, you took all the fun out of it. No, it's 25 million, which is horrible. That's horrible, man. Like, for a movie on this caliber, that's horrible. It grossed 70 million in US and Canada and grossed worldwide 125 million. So it made 20 million on top. Look, at least it made its money back. Unlike a lot of movies we've seen lately.
Yeah.
So with that, that's our overview. We'll get into some trivia afterwards, but Alannis, for now, let's get into why we're all here. And that is our thoughts on Blue Beetle. And Alannis, you take the floor with your nonsense.
I didn't mind it. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was. I mean, I'm not that into DC, but for what I know of Blue Beetle, it gave me what I wanted, which was guy in suit fighting whilst I consumed alcohol. So I mean, if that's what you want out of a DC movie these days, then it delivered. If you want much more, I'm going to say it was fun. It was fun. I'll probably watch it again. I wouldn't rush out, but it's definitely a lot better than a lot of the other tribe I've seen, especially from DC. Yeah. As the way it presented, like the effects, everything like that, it made the Flash look even worse. I mean, and that's why it's a tough decision between the two of them for me. But that's the conversation for later on too, though. But yeah.
You have no idea how much you're making me mad right now. You're making me so mad right now, man. You have no idea how mad you're making me with what you're saying, but continue.
But yes, I think it was an alright origin point. I think if we saw a sequel, it might be a bit better, it'd be a little less formulaic. But I think DC are at a point where they can't just kind of cram things heroes in all the time. It doesn't work that well. They haven't got the foundation there. So if they want to keep trying, then this wasn't a bad attempt. It was in the upper DC movies I've seen in the recent years.
I couldn't disagree more. Literally, I couldn't disagree more, man. Okay, now for everyone at home, I know that a lot of people are going to say, I was feeling superhero fatigue a long time ago. I've been over these movies for a long time. Now, I thought to myself when everyone was saying this, I was like, yeah, we've had a lot of superhero movies. It's been pretty hectic with superhero movies lately, but I haven't really had a bad time really in any of them except for maybe Wakanda Forever because that was a legit funeral for the whole thing. Since we've been going to the movies, I haven't really not enjoyed a superhero movie we've seen. I've kind of enjoyed most of them. Even Guardians of the Galaxy, which I couldn't give a fuck about. So, saying that, 20 to 30 minutes of sitting through this movie, I'm feeling what all you feeling at home for the last whatever movies it is, and I'm done. I'm fucking so over these superhero movies. This couldn't have been more paint by numbers, more fucking coloring in the fucking line, like the picture, not going outside the lines, fucking script of a movie I've ever seen. This is just like Shazam. This is just like fucking, what was that? The one with the fucking rock in it.
No, it was nothing like Black Adam. That was...
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, how does the story go in Black Adam?
He's an anti-hero, man. And, I mean, it's going to take a bit of explaining.
Wait. Is he an anti-hero like Deadpool, or is he just like a bit of a badass?
He's definitely an anti-hero.
Yeah, but okay, how does the plot go? Like, tell me it isn't similar because I'm sure if it was doing something new, Black Adam would have done more numbers.
It wasn't a great movie, but it definitely, in terms of the subgenre, I wouldn't put them that close together.
Look, I'm gonna put it like this. I put it on the same level as interest from the audience. Gauge like what the audience is feeling, how refreshing the movie looks to the audience, and how much do they go see this movie. And the numbers are speaking for themselves with these last two releases from DC, Black Adam and The Flash. So that's 3 movies. And with Marvel, they may not have reached sort of the lows that DC have reached yet, but they're definitely not hitting the highs they once were. And
I think that's because largely people are pompous dicks. So with this, like, you're getting people that don't like a subject matter and only go, "I like this thing, which is a new movie." You're not fatigued over superheroes. You're just over something that you weren't that into in the first place. I think is a lot that we see in the box office there.
I'm just going to say that it's not an event anymore. And that's the problem with these movies is that like every time a Marvel or a DC movie was coming out, new Batman or something, everyone was like, even like the people that didn't go to see these movies were like, you're going to see Suicide Squad? Looks good. Like Suicide Squad looks good. Batman versus Superman, I can't wait. And I remember going to see Batman versus Superman at the movies. And we didn't buy tickets previous to like the movie starting. We just went to the cinemas and we had to leave friends out because they couldn't get in because there was not enough seats. And we went on Friday night, opening weekend, and the cinema was dead. And the numbers are showing that was the case around the world. And for me, I totally see what people are saying, which is that it used to feel special and now it doesn't. And they fucking ruined it. And I don't think they're going to get it back to what it was ever. I don't think, maybe for another 10 years. Like, it could take them that long. You know what I think Marvel need to do? Something as drastic as Spider-Man 4 to get the audience back.
I disagree. I think they're building up. And people are...
We've already been built up, built down.
But this is the thing, though. It's like a living comic book. It's not... You can't have one story that's going to be great all the time. It's going to burn out.
But for regular audiences, man, they don't want comic books.
I think a lot of people have tasted. I think is fucking shit in comparison to me.
I know that, but we're not talking about
this is still
my argument about this movie.
And anyone that knows the characters that are coming, because it's like knowing anything else. There's already subject matter for. There's something to look forward to. Your average moviegoer doesn't have that, so I think that's where the difference is.
I just think that this movie was really bland, and I was bored as fuck. I was so bored through this movie. I didn't want to watch it. I was like, man, this is so uninteresting. Like even the way it was shot, everything was just, to me, it felt like boring. Like there was no imagination put into this movie, in my opinion. It was all, we've seen it. We've seen it. We've seen this before. Like we've seen half the shit in this movie in half the movies we saw this year from DC. Like when he reflects the fucking bullets off his back, just like Batman does in The Flash, Michael Keaton's Batman. Like everything we saw in this has been done and recently. And I just was like, man, like I feel like I'm deja vuing it with this thing. This thing is fucking like everything else we've seen from DC lately. I want the universe thing to go away for DC. Marvel, keep doing your universe. DC, just do your fucking standalone movies and just makes it fresh and new every time. Like, we don't need a universe. Why are DC going like, well, we've got James Gunn now who is in charge of the Marvel one or whatever, and now we've got our own universe. Like, why are you doing this? It's been done. You're not going to do it better. So let's just stop, yeah? And one other thing. I'm a DC fan. I don't like Marvel, really. I like Spider-Man. He's all right. But like, I like Deadpool. He's all right. But apart from that, I couldn't give a fuck about Marvel. And I love Batman. And I'm over Batman, and we haven't even had a solo movie of his in years. Justice League, fucking Suicide Squad, fucking Batman versus Superman, fucking The Flash, man. Batman every time. And it's just like, I'm over it. I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, I fucking nothing new about this movie, you know? Like, nothing. And I can't stand it. It's there. So I'm over it. And these movies need to do something different. Because I tell you, every time I go to these movies, I'm like, the bad guy's going to be like, ha, 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 ha. And then some chick's going to come out of nowhere with a fucking bazooka and going to be like, hey, you. And he's going to be like, oh. And the superhero is going to have his ass saved. When it was like, oh, okay, so she wasn't there. The superhero would be dead right now. And this happens every fucking movie. You know what I mean? Like, I fucking hated this movie. And you know what? Had this movie come out 4 months before Flash, before all this shit, maybe it would have not been as bad. But I like The Flash. And you know why? I think it's because it hit the nostalgia button. I think it did pay fan service. And while people will say that's cheap and it's not good, it was certainly more enjoyable than some fucking character that I couldn't give a fuck about doing what every other character's done in every previous movie to us. That's my argument here, is that it wasn't anything that people needed to see. It was, you can see if you want, it's, nah. Whereas Wakanda Forever, even though I hated that movie too, I'm just not a Black Panther person and shit, that movie was fucking hyped and people were hyped about it because it was something they were looking forward to. This movie had nothing. I don't know why they even decided to continue with this movie. I don't know why they're continuing with Aquaman 2. They should shelve it and forget about it. I don't want to see this Aquaman movie now. I don't want to see it. Like, we're going to have to, and I'm mad about that. And I'm telling you, I'm going to pull a Mission Impossible on it if it fucking pisses me off. If they do one thing, I'm telling you, Alan, one thing, like all the previous movies, I'm out. And he goes, I'm Aquaman. I'm out. Even something simple like that. I'm sorry. Alannis, I respect you. I love you. I hate this movie. I think you're wrong. That's it. I just don't see what you liked more about this than The Flash, because The Flash to me had way more moments where you were like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's fucking pretty cool. Oh, that's pretty cool. And where I was sitting here going, I'm bored as fuck in this. You know,
I just couldn't get behind even despite everything he's done off camera, Ezra Miller as Barry Allen, I think, is what put me down. I think this guy was cast well as Blue Beetle is another thing I think in that comparison there.
I just think this movie lacked, and I think that, like, man, you can't tell me if Spider-Man comes out with another movie that it's going to do what Blue Beetle has done. It's going to do numbers. Spider-Man is huge. We've seen that with Beyond the Spider-Verse and all these things still. Like, they're still doing fantastic. Whereas people don't care about the average superhero movie anymore. It's like, it has to be Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. It can't be these obscure comic book characters anymore because no one gives a fuck. And that's the problem, is the comic book minority is so small. And that, I'm not saying that as a bad thing. It's kind of cool that comic books are niche, and I like that they're sort of a more not mainstream thing to do is to read comics and to go to the comic book shop and buy issues and like keep up to date with it and shit. People usually just read graphic novels or whatever. Like, it's so, like, the portion of the population that actually reads the books and knows about the characters and cares about the characters is a lot smaller than the population that doesn't, in my opinion. You go up to the no, Alannis, come on. You walk up to the person, you go, do you know Blue Beetle? They're going to go, no. Do you go, do you know Spider-Man? They're going to go, yep. That's
no, I mean, it's not, I wouldn't say a minority. I would say it's just an interest. I don't think it's much, I wouldn't say it's more like something that...
I'm just speaking as someone who hasn't been in comic books all my life and got into comic books really late in 2013 when I was already in my 20s. Already expecting a kid and shit like this. Like, before I got into comic books, I had no clue about these characters. I only knew about these characters from reading the comic books. And if I hadn't read the comic books, I probably still wouldn't know about Blue Beetle, because I stopped reading comic books and I couldn't tell you dick about anything new that's happened in the superhero universes for the last 5 to 6 years, 7 years. Because I have no idea. Because I'm what I would classify not a comic book fan, and that's, I'm telling you, there's not, comic book sales speak for themselves as well. They're just not as popular as they once were. Maybe they are as popular, but the population is way bigger now, and the population just spreads out, and you know what I mean? Like, I just think comic books are very niche, and I think that to care about Blue Beetle, you got to care about the universe, the comic books, the setup of the story. I think with Spider-Man, he's on T-shirts, he's on fucking lunch boxes, he's everywhere. Like, you'd be dumb not to know who Spider-Man is. You have to be fucking tone deaf. Whereas with Blue Beetle, I wouldn't blame anybody. You know what I mean? Like, that's my problem, is that it wasn't significant enough for him to make a movie. What if it was like Blue Beetle and one of the bigger characters? That would have worked better, in my opinion, than just doing some random ass fucking movie that no one cared about. Because I can tell you right now, if DC knew that this was going to be the return on this movie and the effort they put into it and shit, they wouldn't have done it. It's just a shame that this has happened, because everyone's been saying it. It's their fault. They saturated the market, both companies. It's not just Marvel did a better job, and they're still handling most of their properties better. So I'm not shitting on Marvel alone here. I'm shitting on Hollywood. Hollywood have no fresh ideas. Hollywood just want to keep making the same fucking movies over again. And we've seen that with reports of Halloween, the new movie coming out. And then them saying, we're making a Halloween TV series. And guess what? It's going to be on Season of the Witch. Hey, no one likes Season of the Witch, you fucking dumb cunts. Like, I don't understand Hollywood, man. They fucking come over these cunts coming up with these terrible ideas and thinking, yeah, we're going to make some money off Blue Beetle. Like, and the audience is going, no, you're not. We're not fucking dumb anymore. You know what I mean? Like, we were interested, 2 years ago when you were introducing these obscure characters, because we were like, ooh, what's this? What's this? And then we realized that Shazam, Blue Beetle, they all have the same tone, they all have the same feel, they all have the same pace, and it's not fresh anymore. And that's my opinion. Is it's not that I hate this movie. It's what I hate the market has done to these movies. That no one cares anymore, because it's too hard to keep up, man. Like, it's so many movies. So once a month, there's a fucking comic book movie. And people are like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm in that camp now. And I know you're not, but you got to remember, Alannis, you're a big comic book guy. And you got to be a big comic book guy now to still be in love with these universes, I feel.
So there's other ones as well. Like, I know people that aren't into the comics, just into the movies, and still are into them. But, yeah.
That's the problem, is no one's paying to go see them at the movies, though. People want to watch them, but when they can get them at home. Like, we've seen that when we went and saw Blue Beetle. No one was there. And then by the looks of it, no cinema had anyone there. So, I don't know, man. I'm just saying that I feel like they need to change shit up, because I'm so over doing the same fucking movies now. Like, I just want to have some fun when I go to the movies and see something different. And all we're getting now is rehash after rehash after rehash. And this is coming from someone who likes movies, man. I love movies. I love entertainment. I love going to the cinema and hanging out and doing dumb shit and just laughing and having a good time. I couldn't do it through this movie because I was just sitting there the whole time shaking my head at how everything was repetitive, everything we've seen. You know what I mean? And it rubbed me the wrong way, this movie. I felt it. I was like, I'm done. I'm fucking done with these movies. So, Aquaman, not looking forward to it. I can already go take a flying fuck. I don't want to see it. But we're gonna have to. And fuck me dead, man. I'm so over this shit. Like, I can't wait to see what DC do with their universe. Because I hope it's something new. Even though I'm not a Superman fan, I think he's fucking overrated as shit. I think he's boring as fuck because he's got really no weaknesses. Except for a rock, which we know that's going to come into it again. It's like every fucking movie. Kryptonite. Yeah, obviously. How'd they stop him? Kryptonite? No shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I'm not a Superman fan, so Superman Legacy or whatever it's going to be called does not do it for me either. I mean, I'm sure if it looks good, I'm going to like it. You know what I mean? It's not that I hate Superman to the point that I'm not going to give it a chance, but it better be fresh with James Gunn now doing this whole DC thing and being, don't worry, we're starting fresh. Like, we're starting fresh with a new movie, Superman Legacy. Blue Beetle was meant to be a part of this one. Now it's not, but the character's continuing out, and it's just like, you're backpedaling. So I don't know, man. My hope for comic book movies going ahead is I want them to be better. And I want them to try new shit. I want them to get this fucking multiverse stuff out of their system, these timeline jumps. Let's just have a decent, as I said, DC, don't do the universe, do single movies. That's what you did best. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I know everyone says that Batman Forever and Batman Returns and all these movies are connected, but like they're very, very, very hardly connected. You know what I mean? Like, you can't tell me that fucking Batman Forever connects into Batman Returns. It doesn't. So I think that DC need to. I mean, even though they're terrible movies, Batman Forever, actually, I take back. That's not a terrible movie. It's pretty campy, but it's all right. Batman and Robin, though. I know, Alannis, you like it. Yeah, and you know what? It's not nice to see you this time, okay?
Nice to see you.
I fucking hate that movie. So, Alannis, now that you've told me your defense for this movie, I want to hear what you didn't like about this movie. Because I already said everything I wanted to say. I already said I can't say anymore without just repeating the same bullshit. You know I hated it. You know I want something fresh. That's my opinion. So
I think for the character, what I potentially like, well, and if we, well, that's a good point. Now we know who the character is when he comes into this new DC universe. There's not going to hopefully be a need for an origin, and people are going to know who he is and his story. So I think this was formulaic, which I think was a bit dull, just so not interested in the character or much of DC at all. So it was more a subjective thing. It also, yeah, it was a double-edged sword the way this movie kind of was structured. It served its purpose. It hopefully will move on to a better thing. I think it's the best. My feelings for this movie.
You want to hope so, man, because I'm telling you, I just felt like this movie was just so. I don't know. I just felt like there was no feeling put into this movie. With The Flash, I understand people didn't like it. I understand the CG was bad, whatever you want to say. But there were moments of genuine happiness that I felt watching that movie. There was moments of genuine, like, fun that I had. Like, I didn't get bored. It was interesting. Like, as much as Ezra, I'm pretty good at separating people from their art. Yeah, like I can like put it in the back of my mind and be like, I'm not. That's not Ezra Miller. And I know you like the other Flash better, the TV, like by Grant Gustin or whatever the fuck his name is. But to me, I don't know that Flash. I didn't watch the TV series. To me, the Flash is Ezra Miller because he's been the Flash in these iterations of Justice League and shit like that. And this is continuing that universe. So for me, I knew what I was going into. I knew what to expect. I knew Ezra Miller's past and history and what he'd done. And I was willing to put that aside and just watch the movie for what it was. You know what I mean? And it wasn't even the Flash that made that movie for me. It was Ben Affleck. It was Michael Keaton. It was those moments. And this movie had none of that. None. Like zero of like, the bit where you're like, oh man, I missed this, you know, or whatever, you know, like I love this, you know, and it's just a shame. That's all. It's a shame. Yeah. I think that this movie had a lot more potential and they could have done a lot more with it. And I think if it had been earlier, not this late on, maybe it'd be different.
No, that's fair.
And this is probably the most heated you're going to see me and Alannis get towards each other because even when we walked out of that cinema, I was like, I hated that. And you were like, I think it was actually DC's one of the best DC's outgoings already. And I was just like, I'm gonna fucking pull over and let you out in a minute, mate. So, I mean, what is your 1 second? Hey, Lucky. She's barking. Anyway, what are you hoping to see going forward from this universe now with Superman Legacy? What is your hope? Because for me, my hopes have been dashed for DC at the moment.
I have no hopes in the DC movies. I have minimal attention.
But with James Gunn
is coming,
James Gunn puppeteering all these movies and shit now. James Gunn did an okay job with the Marvel brand when he was under Marvel. Do you think that he is going to do a good job with these movies? Do you think he's going to do the same thing? Maybe not exactly as good as Marvel's like level of like create. Like, maybe it's not going to be like that, but that's because Marvel have done it already. So DC are going to have a hard time playing catch up, and I don't think that James Gunn's going to change that. You know,
they might make a good handful of movies, but I can't see it. I don't even know if I can see it being good. If it is to entertain that, I think there'll be a handful, and then it'll burn out. I can't see. Marvel caught the lightning in the bottle, I think. And with what you were saying, and with how there is that division now, I don't think there's going to be another cinematic universe for comics taking off here. I think it's going to hopefully maybe be decent for a few movies, and who knows.
I look at things like the Suicide Squad, which James Gunn took the helm of. Peacemaker, James Gunn. James Gunn did Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Like all these movies that people rate and TV shows that people really highly regard. And I look at that as the only glimmer of hope for DC going forward, that we've had these moments where it's like people were kind of still getting over the DC thing, even when the Suicide Squad was coming out, the second one. And yet it still didn't do like terrible. I think we started seeing a decline with Birds of Prey going on from there. Which, you know what? I like Birds of Prey. I thought Birds of Prey was actually really good. I think Shazam was shit. I think that was so. I think Shazam was really good up until the bit where they're fighting at the carnival at the end or whatever. That whole scene just dragged for me. I was like, okay, we've been here for so long now. I'm so over this. You know what I mean? And by the time all the Shazams came out, like his brothers and sisters or whatever, I was like, give a fuck. Don't care anymore. So I don't know, man. I'm not a Marvel guy. I didn't keep up with the Marvel universe. So, I mean, I'm not going to go see a lot of the DC universe, I'm sure. I don't think we're going to keep up with it. It's impossible, man, to keep up with this shit and do all our reviews that we want to do. Like, some weeks it's like, do we see this or this? Like, and we're not paying to see 2 movies or whatever. We don't have the time at the moment either. You know what I mean? So it's like, sometimes people are going to have to be selective. And I think that's the problem, is that superhero movies are constantly releasing around other movies. And people are now having to pick what they want to do. A superhero movie, or do you want to see Gran Turismo? A superhero movie, or do you want to see whatever? You know what I mean? And it's like people are going, well, I want to see the other thing because we've done these superhero movies to death, you know? So I think it's going to take something bold to bring superhero movies back to the forefront like they were. Like, I'm not saying that they're dead. I'm not saying they're going anywhere. I'm not saying that they're not going to be good going forward. All I'm saying is that I don't think we're going to reach the peak that we were at ever again. I think that, and if we do, it's going to be a while away. I think that people need, as I said to you when we left the movies, these movies need to go away for a while. Just take a breather and let everyone recollect their thoughts and be like, you know what I miss? An Iron Man movie or whatever. And then do what the audience wants. Don't do what you think you want and that's going to make you money and blah, blah, blah. You know, like demand speaks for itself. You know, like when there's hype and people are like, oh, new Batman movie, you know that's a good sign. When people are like, The Flash couldn't give a fuck, you know that's a bad sign. And that's what was happening towards the end with every superhero movie. Like, no matter how good it was, people are going, just because it's being done. It's like, and it's not notable characters anymore. It's characters that no one cares about. Like, do you think that the universe going forward would matter any less if the Blue Beetle was not involved? That's my no one would know. No one will care if you just never brought it up, because they'd be like, no one's gonna be like, hey, where's that Blue Beetle guy? Because he's not that popular. He's not as popular as your big name superheroes. He's just not, like, and he never will be. He hasn't built the cachet up like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Iron Man. Like, these are built up properties. And you know what? Before the Iron Man movie, no one gave a fuck about Iron Man either. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when, it was Tales of Suspense, yeah, that Iron Man was first appeared in, yep.
Yeah.
That comic book was worth sweet fuck all before the Iron Man movies. Like, not fuck all, but compared to what it is now, where it's like a fucking over 10K book, you know what I mean, in good condition. Like, it wasn't that, ever. You know what I mean? Oh, dude, I don't know. I just feel like I'm so over it. I'm run down. I'm tired over these movies. Whatever happened to comedy movies, man?
Yeah.
We got Strays this year, and we didn't see it. Obviously, we wanted to. I wanted to. But we didn't have time and whatever. There was other movies on. And apparently it got bad reviews. But, like, do you remember those years of, like, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up?
Yeah, yeah.
Pineapple Express. They were releasing, like, 45 comedy movies a year. Now they're releasing, like, one, maybe. Like, Cocaine Bear was basically the only comedy sort of style movie, even though it was like I guess it was not just a comedy.
I think it's black comedy.
Black comedy. That was the only comedy that me and you really saw this year. Think about it. What did we see this year? It's all action. It's all superheroes. And I want them to go back to a little bit of, like, basic ideas of cinema, which is like, remember the days when you used to go see Road Trip, American Pie, all these, but people are too scared these days. People don't want to offend. People are too scared to make sort of on the edge jokes, which those movies kind of require. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I think people are bitches these days, and they're fucking. I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of everyone being, oh, you can't say that. Oh, that's offensive. Oh, hey, mate. Listen, not everyone's going to have the same opinion as you. Not everyone's going to have the same view on things. And you know what? People are allowed to laugh at fucking jokes that are a little bit, whatever they are, a little bit, could be a little bit sexist, feminist, racist. It doesn't matter as long as the intention is not to be a racist. You know what I mean? The intention behind the joke is to make people laugh. That's all it is. Like, I'm a big fan of freedom of speech if it's used correctly. You know what I mean? So, like, you don't just go around slurring people. You know what I mean? Like, if there's a joke to tell the joke, win or lose, and hope that you win. But, like, people are too scared to even take the jump these days, you know?
Yeah.
It's just sad, man, because I feel like I've been watching a lot of shit on, like, the way the world's working and stuff at the moment. It's just sad to see the way humanity's become so cutthroat, so against each other. Whatever happened to, like, just your average normal people, man? Like, there are all these flat earthers now. Like, there are all these fucking... What I'm so sick of this use of the Karen word, like, term. Like, oh, my God. People are like, oh, that's a Karen. You're like, you're a fucking loser. Using that name. Like, I can't believe this has become a thing. Like, the world sucks, man. The world sucks. It's a shame, man. I just want the 90s to come back. Do you remember in the 80s when, like, kids would have, like, birthday parties and shit, and the mum would be, like, leaning over the kitchen table, cutting, like, the dining room table with all the kids around the table with a fucking smoke hanging out of her mouth, with the smoke, like, just lingering around the kids and shit like that. And the kids are like, happy birthday, Stephen. Like, dude, those were the days, you know, like, where they were like, go outside. Yeah, parents were like, don't go outside, there's germs and there's pedophiles. And while they are correct, while you probably shouldn't let your kids outside these day and age, that's what I mean. That's sad that you can't do that. Remember the days? Remember the days of going for a bike ride, man?
Yeah.
Not happening now. Not happening now. Quinn was like, can I go for a bike ride to the shops? I'd be like, no. I'm not putting your fucking photo on milk cartons, man. I'm not having a missing kid. You know, and that's what's going to happen. You go for a bike ride, mate. So this world's horrible now, man. You know, like 90s. I miss you. So, Alannis, let's get into our sort of wrap up, whatever you want to call it. Before we do that, Alannis, tell me what you would give this movie out of 5 stars.
I'll give it 2.5.
All right. Now, you gave, now I know this for a fact because I checked it today. You gave The Flash a 3. So do you want to redirect this?
Reflecting on The Flash, I'll probably only give that about a 2 now. Especially seeing, rewatching parts, looking into those effects and all. Yeah.
You know why I think I can't hate The Flash like you did? My son loved it.
That's a fair call.
We went and saw it together. I saw it with you at 4DX, and then I saw it with him at 4DX, like the week after. And he was so enthusiastic. He loved it so much, and he couldn't stop talking about it. And he's like, when's The Flash coming to streaming? He's still doing that. He's still saying that. It was a superhero movie finally that my kid just was like, I love this. You know what I mean? Like, he likes Batman. He likes all the movies that came before it and shit like that. And we watched all of them and stuff. But, like, nothing's quite had the effect on him like this did. Like The Flash did, sorry, you know? And then when Blue Beetle came out, he was like, early on, he was like, I kind of want to see it. And then when it came out, he's like, I don't want to see it. Even my kid's over it. He wasn't even born for half of these movies, man. What are you going to do, eh? All right, so I give it a flat 1 out of 5. And I'm not trying to be a dickhead. I'm not trying to be a joker. I think that this movie brought very little to the table that made it stand out from anything else. And I think that while it wasn't maybe a shit show disaster fire, no one talked about it quite like The Flash did, I don't think it was ever going to be like that because there was a lot leading up to The Flash, like the budget, the problems with Ezra Miller, the amount of time they worked on it, the secret cameos. There was so much shit buzz about this movie, and that's what made the movie. Everyone think that this movie was going to be huge, and like James Gunn's like, it's the best superhero movie I've ever seen, and all this shit. And then no one cared. And then this movie comes out, and I'm supposed to believe that people are going to care about this more than The Flash? I don't think so. I'm sorry, but The Flash still holds more popularity than Blue Beetle does, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, my son could have told you what the logo for The Flash was. He would have seen Blue Beetle, he would have gone, what's this ancient Egypt shit? Is that scarab? Like, I don't fucking know. He doesn't even know what a scarab is, you know? Probably does. I don't know. So let's get into some trivia. Yep. And just as I thought, the first bit of trivia is exactly how this movie felt. The film originally was set to be exclusive for Max, formerly HBO Max, but it was granted a theatrical release. This movie felt like a straight-to-streaming movie. This movie had the budget of a straight-to-streaming movie. This movie did not have a cinematic release budget. Like, this was a pretty, small budget for a superhero movie these days, and you definitely felt it. And they didn't use it smart like Deadpool would have with a small budget. You know what I mean? Like, Deadpool still did enough different where it was like, okay, I see how they're making this smaller budget work. This movie needed a bigger budget, in my opinion. DC Studios CEO James Gunn, who was hired after the film's production, stated that while the film is set in the DC Extended Universe, it is ultimately disconnected from the universe. So, I'm just going to quickly say my own thing in between this trivia fact. So it's not in a universe then, is it? While it is still a part of the DC Extended Universe, it's ultimately disconnected from the universe. So it's not in the universe then. That's what you're saying. These people think we're so dumb, man. Like, I'm not falling for this bullshit anymore. Listen, mate, you can't keep dipping your toe in and out, and that's what you've just done. That's what James Gunn did. He was like, it's a part of it. And then when he saw it was going to fail, he's like, it's kind of a part of it. Two costumes seen in in the Beetle Cave resemble the costumes worn by Dan Garrett and Ted Cord, the previous Blue Beetles before Jamie. Like anyone would have fucking known that unless they read the comics or anything. You know what I mean? Like, talk about fucking Easter eggs that just don't matter. The fifth DCEU movie to receive a certified fresh score on Rotten Tomatoes after Wonder Woman 2017, Shazam 2019, Birds of Prey 2020, and The Suicide Squad 2021. That's weird. What about The Batman? No, for real. Didn't the Batman get a really good review?
I think so.
That's what I mean. I don't know how factual that is because maybe the Batman didn't. Yeah, who cares? That movie was not very good either. Actually, I forgot about that movie. I was like, we haven't had a standalone movie of Batman in ages, and I'm already over him. I'm like, oh wait, we did, and that's what I mean. It was not memorable. It was terrible. Like, I was so bored through that fucking movie, man. It was dark and what people wanted from a Batman movie, but kicked up 10 notches to too dark. Yeah. You know what I mean? Where it was just unenjoyable. The main theme copies 3 notes of the Imperial March by John Williams. Yep. And this movie copied every other movie before it. So there you go. And we'll get into one more. One of the first weapons the Beetle creates is a replica of the Zorg ZF-1 from the Fifth Element. What?
That's a weird thing.
What in the irrelevant fuck is going on here? It was like, hey, you know, it'd be cool if we did the Zorg ZF-1. And then people were like, the Zorg ZF-1? And he was like, you know the Zorg? People were like, no, Craig, we don't know the Zorg. And he's like, you know, from that Bruce Willis movie, The Fifth Element. Everyone was like, the Zorg, right? Get fucked. Like, no one, everyone would have been like, okay, if that's what you want to do, like, not that it connects these movies whatsoever. Like, are we supposed to believe now that they're in the same universe?
I don't know.
That's what I mean. This movie doesn't know what to do with itself. Ah, fuck me, man. Why did we choose to do this for a podcast? Now, people, can you see why I didn't want to fucking rush to this review? I'm just getting mad talking about it. Can't wait till these movies are fucking done, man. Before I'm done in the theater one day and I put a gun to my head, I'm just like, if you keep playing the movie, projectionist, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. Like, oh my god. So yeah, I guess we just bring up our rankings and get the fuck out of here. I'll come over there and I'll show you who the real Blue Beetle is in a minute, Alannis. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but it's late. All right, so I'm just getting your scoreboards that you made. I forgot.
Yes.
People messaging me and shit on Facebook. Someone's like, hey, do you need weed? No, I don't. I don't want your stinky weed. Is it Safari Sunset? Or is it Bush Lantern? Because if it's not, fuck out of here. Once you're on the prescription, mate, I'm not buying your fucking cholo ass fucking Mexican weed where the fucking grown in the dirt, just fucking no care, just fucking bush weed, man. No thanks. I'm alright. I'm wearing the jacket, you know? The green jacket with a big pot leaf on the back. And I'm holding a license that officially now lets me say dude every sentence. So when people go, you keep saying dude, don't do that. I'll be like, check out my license. Pull it out. It's called the dude license, man. Where the fuck did I save these scoreboards? You know what I'm saying? I don't know where the fuck I put them. 1 second. Here we go. Oh, what a world. Come on. All right, so for people that aren't familiar with our show at home, oh my god, my dog! I'm gonna I'm gonna punch her in the uprights in a minute, man. I'm not fucking kidding. Shut up! Get out. Go on. See you later. Yeah, don't let your ass get hit on the way out. Fuck me, man. That dog, I tell you what. I love her, but she's a fucking pain in my ass. So, for everyone, let me repeat that. For everyone at home that isn't familiar with our show, we rank movies, well, we used to rank movies in franchise. And we ranked them from best to worst. So, like, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and so on. And we decided to do it a little bit differently this year, and that is we're going to rank every movie that we go see at the actual theaters, and we see that's a new release this year. And we rank them twice. Well, more than that, because you get to rank them. I get to rank them in the order of what we like most, so we get our own lists. We also get our own 40X lists. Now, remember, Alannis, before we go, we should probably talk about the 40X experience just a little bit. I didn't pay attention to it very much because I was on my phone the entire time because I hated this movie. So, Alannis, what did you think of the 40X?
It wasn't bad. It had some moments that were really good, but it also wasn't one of the greater ones. So I'd say, once again, kind of in the middle.
I tell you what, man. 40X is really annoying when you don't want to watch the movie and it's just throwing you around the seat. You're on your phone like this. It's fucking annoying as all shit, yeah? So, next movie, even if it's a bad movie, I'm turning my phone off, leaving it in the car, because I'm telling you, man, it was too tempting to just be like, I don't like what's going on the screen. Just fucking falling out of everywhere. So, okay, Alannis, was the 40X rating the Spider-Man, or what, with the Blue Beetle in the background, like in the middle, like not the purple or blue one, the other one?
I
I'm just gonna bring it up. Here it is. This is our ranking for 40X. Mine goes number 1, the Super Mario Brothers movie. Number 2, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Number 3, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. Number 4, The Flash. Number 5, The Meg 2, The Trench. Number 6, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Number 7, Fast X. Number 8, Blue Beetle. And number 9, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. Now, I want to quickly say something before we continue on to yours, Alannis. I'm going to change my ranking next week. I'm going to put The Meg above The Flash for 40X. Because thinking back on it, I had a fucking great time in that movie. I had such a fun time in The Meg. It was a great. That was a man. That was talk about a movie that I couldn't have given a fuck less about, and didn't give a fuck about it when I left the theater. I was laughing at how fucking hilarious it was, and the more I think about it, I'm like, I'd go see that again in 40X. That was a fucking good time. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know. I warmed up to The Meg with the 40X experience. It's quite surprising, actually, that I even give 2 fucks about that movie. You know what I mean? But whatever. It was a good time. And your list goes, number 1, The Meg 2, The Trench. See? That's what I mean. It was a fucking good time, wasn't it, Alannis? Number 2, the Super Mario Brothers movie. Number 3, Transformers: Rise of the Beast. Number 4, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Number 5, The Flash. Number 6, Blue Beetle. What's with the 67 after that?
Hey, wow, look at that typo there, sneaky little guy.
Dude, wait, and then there's a no 7 before Fast X. What have you done, man? The 7's up there. All right, so
with an extra 6.
So Alannis' 67th favorite movie of the year was Fast X. And then we go back to his 8th movie of the year, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Number 9, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. Do we have to see Part 2? Please.
No.
I'm not seeing Part 2. That movie really fucking ruined my month. Let's go to our list of movies of the year. Mine goes like this. And I know I'm going to cop a lot of hate, but you know what? I don't give a fuck. Number 1, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. It was good, but it was a good fucking movie, and no one else can see it, and I don't know what's going on. Am I dumb? Am I fucking wrong here, Alannis?
I think it was a good movie.
Yeah, fuck. I don't know what people. I don't know, man. I'm not going to get into it. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Number 2, the Super Mario Brothers movie. Number 3, Scream 6. Number 4, The Flash. Number 5, Avatar: Way of the Water. Number 6, Transformers: Rise of the Beast. Number 7, Cocaine Bear. Number 8, you know what? I'm going to put Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse above Cocaine Bear as well next week, because I fucking look back on Spider-Man more fondly than Cocaine Bear. Number 9, TMNT, Mutant Mayhem. Number 10, Evil Dead Rise. Number 11, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Number 12, The Meg 2, The Trench. Oh, man, I'm going to have to change that too. You know, like, that's going to go up higher now. Number 13, Fast X. Number 14, Blue Beetle. Number 15, Dead Reckoning. See, the problem with it, Alannis, is some movies just need a little bit of time to gestate, and you need to think about these things before you actually review them. And the problem is we always review these movies the moment we've seen the movie, you know, so our, like, fresh feelings are there. Whereas we gave this movie time. So, like, I knew exactly where I wanted to put this. I knew exactly how I felt about this movie. That's why I have such strong opinions on it. Alannis, let's get to yours. Number 1, Evil Dead Rise. Number 2, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Number 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Number 4, Avatar: The Way of the Water. Number 5, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Number 6, Transformers: Rise of the Beast. Number 7, The Meg 2. Number 86, Scream 6. Number 9, the Super Mario Brothers movie. Number 10, Cocaine Bear. Number 11, The Blue Beetle. Number 12, The Flash. Number 13, TMNT, Mutant Mayhem. Way too low, but whatever. Number 14, Fast X. And number 15, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. Look, at least we both can agree on Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, where that deserves to be. Oh my god, that was the best night. How we're just like, we're just going home. Hey, is that the flash on behind you? Whoop, 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 whoop. Ezra warning. What's that? The Ezra Miller alarm's going off. Everyone out of the building. Everyone out of the building, quick. He's punching women. Everyone out of the building, quick. He's kidnapping 14-year-olds and taking them to his ranch. Everyone out of the building, quick. All right, so that has been our episode of Ranked and Reviewed. Now, it's a little bit longer than usual. but I feel it was necessary. We haven't done an episode in a while, and it was good to be back and have an argument.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Alannis! Blue Beetle sucked cocks! Not that that's a bad thing if you want to suck cocks. Go right ahead. Don't let me stop you from delicious cock. From delicious cock. Don't let me stop you. So, with that, I've been your host, Tomye West. Joining me, as always, has been this fucking chump here that like Blue Beetle, Alannis Maximus. And while I love him, he has some silly stuff to say, doesn't he? Don't you eat all that wedding cake, Alannis.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm Star-Lord.
I get the same old dreams,